Good morning, my darlings.
Good morning.
Thanks for tuning in to the Kelissa in the Morning Show. We have an awesome show lined up for you today, so stay tuned. And don't forget, we are the hottest show on the network, and this is how we do it. Don't touch that dial.
This is how we do it.
Welcome to the Kelissa in the Morning Show. I'm Jay Parker sitting in. Kelissa in the morning.
Kelissa
Bass.
in the morning. Good morning, my darlings.
We are so honored that you decided to make us a part of your morning by tuning in. So on behalf of the WAEC Love 860 family, we say again, welcome.
Welcome. And thanks for tuning in to the Kelissa in the Morning Show. I'm your host, Kelissa Bass. And if you haven't already, go over to my website at www.kelissabass.com and purchase my books.
Get the book.
One is an autobiography, and it's called Behind Closed Doors. And the other one is a workbook, Mining for Success, 7 Keys to Achieving Any Goal or Dream. And you don't want to miss those.
You can't miss it.
No,
Yeah,
you need those books, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
And so before we get into the meat of the show, we want to honor our sponsor.
Exactly.
So Tabitha Foy. I Am Life T-shirts by TNT Creations, where the feeling of life begins.
The feeling of life begins. It's an awesome T-shirt, too.
Awesome.
It feels good. Yeah.
She's due to launch here really, really soon.
Yes, next month, actually.
And so when she does, I'm gonna get me a T-shirt. Man. I wonder if they got a purple and green one.
A purple and green?
Purple and green.
Is that your favorite color?
No, not really. Just it'll stand out.
Okay. Well, I'm sure it has green in there because it's kind of rainbow-looking colors, and so yeah. It'll have some colors in there.
There's one I like in there.
Yeah.
How much are they? Do you know? I'm trying to get
we
mine
got that
$1.
information. Yeah, we'll talk to her
see if
soon
I can
about
get
that
mine for
price. Yeah,
$1.
because we got to tell people how much they are, where to
I
go,
know,
and how to get them, and all that. So.
And then, of course, what they stand for. So it's not just a T-shirt product line. It stands for something.
Has a meaning.
It has a meaning.
Yes.
And so as we launch that product line, as she launches that product line, we'll explain the whole thing, and you'll want to get yours right away.
Yeah, I mean, and think of the tag, where the feeling of life begins. Sounds magical.
Yes.
Yeah.
So look, we have a Power Pack show, don't we?
Yes, we do.
We do. So
We do.
we're going to encourage our listeners here in Atlanta to give us a call, 404-355-8699. If you're calling from around the country, you can reach us toll-free, 866-923-2860. And you can actually, if you have a handheld device, you can log on to www.love860.com and see us live.
That's right. We'll wave to you and all. Call in and talk to us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I want to talk to you. So we have Mr. Whitehead.
Mr.
coming
Whitehead,
on.
yes.
So I'm waiting for him to call in.
He's
And so-
actually,
Is
Mr.
he-
Whitehead, are you on the line?
I
He
am.
is.
Well, good morning. How are you?
I'm well. How about you guys?
Oh, we're doing just great.
That's good.
Yeah. How's your morning going?
It's going good. A little hustle and bustle over here downtown Birmingham, but
Okay.
I'm good. I'm here. I'm alive. I'm well. I'm thankful.
And that's a blessing, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, well, thank you for joining us on this morning, and I know the listeners are looking forward to hearing from you, as well as myself, because I learned a lot about you searching on the internet and what you've been doing. And so tell the listening audience, now that we have you on the phone, who is Timothy Whitehead?
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Well, really, it's funny. I get asked that question a lot. And,
Right.
I tell people that I'm just an average guy. I'm just an average guy that's trying to just reach other people, just trying to share my story. And my wife, and I, we've been through so much
Okay.
in our life, and I just feel like, I'm just an average guy trying to reach other average people, and I'm just humbled to just kind of be in that place right now. So that's kind of where I'm at.
Okay. Well, I have noticed and watched some of your videos that you post online, and they're very
Mm-hmm.
inspirational. And I saw that a lot of people were commenting, and they really like your videos. And so I thought
Oh,
the
yeah.
word that you have to say is very inspirational. But I did learn that you are an ordained minister as well, or a preacher.
Yes.
Is it pastor, preacher, minister? Which one?
Yes, I was pastor. I was
Pastor.
a pastor, and
That's a big calling.
I focused in. I've been in ministry 10+ years. Let me start there.
Okay.
And I did a lot of evangelistic work when I was younger, and as time went by, I started focusing more into church planning. I knew that there was a need in the community for more, not just churches, but churches that was about building people up. So, I focused in church planning for about 5 years to prepare. And it's funny how things change. When I
Right.
started pastoring, a conviction came over me that, hey, you need to be doing more than just preaching over a pulpit. You need to go around the nation and just inspire people who wouldn't even step foot in the church. So
Wow.
Okay.
that's kind of how, that journey started for me, with what I do now.
Mr. Whitehead, I feel you all the way on that. And so
Oh, yeah.
I'm in nonprofit, and sometimes
Gotcha.
in what direction you want to take an organization, but most of the time people aren't willing to take your consultation, and it becomes
Exactly.
a grind. So in light of that, I'm going to read your mini bio to the listener audience, so
Absolutely.
they'll know exactly who they're talking with and how to pose their questions to you.
Oh, yeah, sure.
So we're talking with Timothy Whitehead. He's a gifted keynote and motivational speaker with a passion to help people find purpose and success in both their personal and professional lives. He has a heart for empowering others and believes the catalyst of socioeconomic change in the community begins with self-motivation. Mr. Whitehead has spoken at numerous churches, conferences, and schools, including the University of Connecticut. He is a graduate from Faulkner University in Montgomery, Alabama, where he earned his bachelor's degree in human resource management. So that tells me a lot. That tells
Wow.
me that not only are you a minister, but you're a business professional. And sometimes who you're consulting with don't know business. And
Yes.
and they will and they'll oppose you. They'll fight you a little bit. So
Well, Timothy, couldn't now just kind of enlighten me on this or help me understand this. Can you not still be a preacher and a motivational speaker?
I can, and that's kind of where I'm at. I consider myself a hybrid, so
Okay.
to speak.
okay.
On the motivational side, I love to focus on businesses because, believe it or not, I'm one of those people that believes that business and church go hand in hand. If you look biblically, you had businessmen before you even had the church. And so what I try to do is come into businesses, motivate people, teach people, give them biblical principles as it relates to their business, especially aspiring entrepreneurs.
Okay.
And just say, hey, you're not just there to make profit, but, you got to put people over profit. And that's the way you're able to be blessed, as a company, a business, a nonprofit, or whatever you're trying to do. So yeah.
Okay. So the decision that you chose to not, no, I don't want to say follow the ministry, but stay in the ministry and pastor.
Yes, what I decided to do was not focus in the local church per se,
Okay.
but more so go around and work with other churches, other organizations, focus on consulting training, because what I realized as a pastor is that we are so limited on the people we reach just because the way people think about church, the way people think about religion, sometimes it cripples us.
Okay.
And what I realized that with myself, that I had such a strong social media audience that I was still able to be very effective locally by also doing my thing nationally.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Okay, so the topic of the show, listeners, today is upgrading your focus to win. And so when you decided to you feel like this was an upgrade, right? As far as a
Oh,
career move is
absolutely.
concerned. Okay. And so tell the listening audience, like when you're deciding to make that change or upgrade your focus so that you can win, what are some of the steps or challenges that you face? That
Oh
you're going
my
to face?
goodness.
I know, right?
What a question. What a question. The first challenge is really knowing that it's God and it's not just your feelings.
Okay.
When it comes down to it, it was the hardest thing for me to do because I invested so much time, so much
Years,
money,
yeah.
so much energy into doing it. But what I had to realize is, number one, you need people in your corner who's for you, that'll be able to give you sound wisdom. So for me personally, I had roughly 6 people who I could go to and say, listen, this is the situation. This is what I feel God is calling me to do. And including my wife, I put her in it as well.
Right.
And, at the end of the day, I was able to make a sound decision that was not emotional,
Right.
but it was a decision that, that was just wise and just practical.
And you
So-
felt led by God, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. And even in that, right there in that point, sometimes you really have to move all the emotion out of the way. And you have to become as practical as possible. And you really have to just use wisdom to do what you're called to do. And I think sometimes we allow titles, formality and things of that nature to kind of put us
To
in a
define
box.
us, right.
Exactly. Opposed to saying, this is my gifts. These are my gifts. I'm wrapping my passion around my gifts.
Right.
And so that allows you to really be unlimited in what you do and really unlimited in your reach. So you can use more than one platform to be able to, do what you need to do as a minister, speaker, or whatever you feel like you're called to do.
Okay, was there a particular incident that led you to step down, or you just prayed about it and that's what you felt led to do?
Not really a particular incident as much as, it's funny. My wife and I talk about her a lot because
Okay.
she's really my biggest business advisor, so to speak. She's the one that I'm able to speak, and she says, babe, you messed that up. You need to go back to the shop and work that out. So I knew I can trust her big time. And so one day after service, we was just driving home and we was just talking about the ministry and things I wanted to do. And, it's weird because God will be talking to me about something and she'll come back and confirm that thing. And we was having a conversation and she said, Tim, have you thought about going back to speaking? Because, again, I did a lot of that in my earlier 20s.
Okay.
And I said, it's funny that you say that. I said, I've been feeling convicted every time I leave service that it's more I can do for the community, for the people. And I'm a very missional person, real community-based type of guy. So she said, yeah, God really been dealing with me about you speaking. And ironically, I had a guest that came to the service, and they said, hey, are you a motivational speaker? Are you a life coach? Because you got a voice like for the nations. And so I'm like, oh, that's crazy confirmation. So that's kind of how the ball got the rolling with heading this direction.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. And it's important to hear from the Lord. It's funny when decisions like these are made, people around you will say, oh man, what are you doing? But you know what God's telling you to do.
Absolutely.
And so I applaud your obedience.
And then when you get confirmation.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's important. And then you have your spouse on board.
Yes.
And that's important, man. Y'all going to put 10,000 a flight. I know me and my honey lamb, we, sometimes when I try to do it myself, it
Right.
I can only reach certain level of success, but boy, when I get her involved, that's what's up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it expands you. And, it's funny that you say that. The pressure, the peer pressure, so to speak, that you get from your peers, and even other leaders that are in ministry, and not to throw ministers under the bus or anything like that, but some will disassociate themselves from you.
Right.
Because of, their belief. Some pastors believe once you start, there's no turning back.
Right.
You're in it till you die.
Yeah.
And you have to be bold.
Right.
And you really can't care what other people think. You got to really follow what God told you to do. So.
Okay. All right. And that's funny because a lot of times in life, we know what God is telling us.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
We know, and a lot of times we'll get distracted by what people are saying that you should do, and then we leave our wise counsel. So again, I commend you for, you if God said that you could reach more people by making an adjustment, then by golly, that's what you do.
Absolutely.
So,
And he's doing a lot of that. And I'm really proud of him. We're actually coming up on our 9:30 giveaway hour. But before we go into that, which is about a minute, I just want to let everybody, I know whoever's looking, Love860.tv. I have my son, who's 12 years old, Tevin, in the studio with me today. So everybody wave at him. And then I have my soon-to-be fiance in here as well. So,
Awesome.
So I'm so glad that they're here with me today and decided to join me. And so what we're going to do is going to go ahead into our 9:30 giveaway. And so the 8th caller will be the one who will win. It's a
Lake Winnie tickets for 4.
Yes, for 4.
Wow. So make sure that you give us a call. If you're in the Atlanta metropolitan area, man, you can just pop to the station and pick them up. 404-355-8699 is the number.
That's right.
Or we could send them to you if you're calling from around the country, 866-923-2860.
That's right.
Yeah. So get your tickets to the 4th caller.
The 8th caller.
I'm sorry, the 8th caller.
The 8th caller.
8th caller. Man, that math thing is just a challenge this week. What's going on, man?
Right.
So give us a call.
Give us a call because we'll be looking forward to that 8th caller.
But it's time for us to take a break. In
Yes,
case
it
you're
is.
just tuning in, you're listening to the Kelissa in the Morning Show with Kelissa Bass.
Morning show.
Don't
Morning
you touch
show.
that dial. We'll be right back.
We'll be right back with you.
Can't stop, won't stop. Where the brakes at? I give him that diddy bop. Like, take that, take that, take that, take that. I'ma put in work. I'ma do that ASAP. Throw my faith in rap. But it say, don't say that, huh? What I'ma turn down for? I feel like Shaq in 9-4. Breaking glass in that back boat. I like Kobe in Toronto, huh? Dropping 81. Yo, I dropped the 88. Ricky Bobby, shake and bake. Sleeping on it, should've stayed awake, huh? Everybody make mistakes like VJs. Tryna say my name, it's Minio. Say it with me, Minio. Okay, great. 2 forks high, raise stakes. Risk it all, I take the hate. This the winning team, get the Gatorade. My guy good, but he's not safe, nah. They try to shut us down and it ain't gon' slide. Only thing I fear is God and he on my side. That's the confidence I got, cause he got me. That's why I really feel like you can't stop me. That's all you got. Come on with it. That's all you got. You can't stop me. You don't got the power. Shut me down. That's not enough. I'm my biggest problem. You don't got the power. Shut me down. That's not enough. You can't stop me. You're my biggest opponent. You know me, I know you, we know it. Whenever I fail, you always been there to simply remind me you're blown it. You don't see when I'm growing. You don't see where I'm going. You only see in the moment. You know my mistakes. You never let go it. Don't cease to amaze me, and it drive me crazy. That you catch every detail that I missed in the songs I'm making, saying you were never ready. write a verse like Kendrick. Never be the rapper I got from Hendrix. Top 10 alive, you will never be mentioned. Why aim so high, I won't survive the trenches. Plus, you a Christian, Andy. They will never listen, Andy. Plus, we a pigment, Andy. You don't got skill, you a gimmick, Andy. Well, if I listen to you and everything you put in my ear, I'll be living like woulda, shoulda, coulda. I'll be paralyzed by fear. Ain't that the truth? If I quit, the only way I lose, I got two choices when I do this. Make moves or make excuses, If you know who I'm talking about, then you got me. My biggest enemy is me, and even I can't stop me. They try to shut us down and it ain't gon' slide. Only thing I fear is God and he on my side. That's the confidence I got, cause he got me. That's why I really feel like you can't stop me. That's all you got. Come on with it. That's all you got. You can't stop me. You got the power. Shut me down. That's not enough. I'm my biggest problem. You don't got the power. Shut me down. That's not enough. You can't stop me. If I cannot stop me, then you'll never stop me. Oh no, can't stop. Oh no, won't stop. I said if I cannot stop me, then you'll never stop me. Oh no, can't stop. Oh no, won't stop. I said if I cannot stop me, then you'll never stop me. Oh no, can't stop. Oh no, won't stop. I said if I cannot stop me, then you'll never stop me. Oh no, you can't stop me. That's all you got. Come on with it. That's all you got. You can't stop me. You don't got the power. Shut me down. That's not enough. I'm my biggest problem. You don't got the power. Shut me down. That's not enough. You can't stop me.
All right. In case you just tuned in, you're listening to the Kelissa in the Morning Show. So we're waiting on that caller. We're giving away 4 tickets to Lake Winnie. Yes.
Go
Lake
and have
Winnie.
some fun. Enjoy yourself.
To the
this
8th
summer.
caller, you're going to get them, 404-355-8699. If you're calling from around the country, 866-923-2860. And so we are live in the studio. By way of phone, Timothy Whitehead is joining us. And so, Mr. Whitehead, I have a question for you.
Absolutely.
I want to call you Pastor Whitehead, but I don't know. It's a pastor, minister, reverend, deacon, doctor. I don't know. I don't know what to say. So,
Hey, just call me Tim. Mr. Whitehead, you got me all feeling uptight. Tie on, I'm telling you.
oh, don't feel uptight.
Make you feel at home. Mr. White, just call me Tim.
So
It's all good.
So Tim. so what? Okay, so I know the direction that you're moving in. Is there any possibility in the future that you'll go full-time ministry again, or do you consider what you're doing full-time ministry?
Yeah, great question. I do consider what I'm doing full-time ministry. However, the type of people that I really admire is the John Maxwells, the Joyce Meyers. These are people who are not only reaching the church world, but they're reaching the secular world as well.
Okay.
And so, that's the direction that I'm heading. And I just believe it's so important for the church to be the catalyst and the standard for society. But however, I think we have to get society to trust the church, and I think that's an issue. I know I'm opening a whole can of worms right here, but
It's
I
the
think
truth,
that's
though.
an issue. Yeah, with society, I think it's a major trust issue, and if we can regain that influence and that trust, I think we'll help the church big time with that. So.
Wow. I think a lot of people have a misconception of who the church is.
Absolutely.
The church are people saved by grace, still being fixed. They're an incomplete product. So the Word of God says for us not to put any trust in man, but to lean on Him wholeheartedly. And so that's where people get derailed. They say, okay, this guy is a Christian, so we can trust him. Oh, mistake, because he's a man. He's a man.
Yes.
And
Yes,
so,
and as you know, we mess things up.
right.
So,
Yes.
and you're absolutely right. People have a misconception, and I even experienced that, as a pastor. People when they think about, for example, as a pastor, I can give the best speech in the world, but their mindset is, okay, I shouldn't give the pastor anything. Or I shouldn't give the church anything. This is what he's supposed to be doing. This is what he should be doing, which is, that's true. However, as a speaker, I can give the same speech, 30-minute speech, and get $3,000 and nobody have a problem with it whatsoever.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's a double standard there. And I think once we break certain stereotypes and get back to how we need to biblically be perceived, I think things will be a little bit better.
Right.
Okay,
Wow,
that's
that
pretty
was,
interesting.
Yeah, that was an interesting road to go down. That is absolutely the truth too.
It is.
People are afraid. We talked about this on last week's show. People are
Right.
afraid to give to the church because they think that next week the pastor's going to be in his new Cadillac.
But that's how it looks. Now, and I'm not saying with your church, Timothy, but I've been to several churches, and it just looks like the people are suffering, still riding their hoopty, but they're giving their rent money. And you're saying, not you, but preachers are saying, trust God for your overflow, for your your blessing's going to come through. And then you drive up next week with a brand new car. Well, you're trusting him, and why come I'm not getting a blessing?
Absolutely. It's a lot of truth to that. I'm going to give you some interesting stats on that. Only 8% of Christians give to their church on a regular basis.
Wow.
So it's a 92%, gap. What that says to me is that there is a trust issue there. Also, when you look at church budgets, the average pastor salary takes up roughly 60% of the overall budget, which is, in my opinion, ridiculous. The way I was trained, shout out to Church of the Highlands here in Birmingham.
Okay.
We was trained that budgets shouldn't exceed 35%. And I'm not talking about just the pastor's budget. That's the overall budget.
Right.
Okay.
So I think it's important to be transparent with the people to where the money is going. But I think that's where the trust issue is, that people don't know where their money is going.
And I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with the pastor riding around in a nice car, but the rest of the congregation should not still be suffering, because why are you the what is it? The pastor over the sheep? And they're suffering, or they're the shepherd over the sheep, and they're suffering, and they got flies and bugs and look like they have the mange. You're not taking care of your flock.
Yeah.
And so you taking better care of yourself than you are your flock. And so I have a problem with that, because if God is blessing you and you're my example, then he should be blessing me as well. Or I should be, all of us can get blessed. There's no limitations on who gets blessed and who doesn't. And there shouldn't be any little I's and big U's, and the whole church thing is just confusing sometimes.
Let me stick a fly in the ointment.
Get me going.
Well, now the congregation has its responsibility to the process as well. Now they're sitting there concentrating on the pastor and what he's driving, when they're not doing what the word tells them to do in regards to how to.
Now that I do not agree with, because you are the head, and so you're leading by example.
Right. So okay, we're gonna have an argument on the air. It's good.
I got my popcorn.
So, but like on last week's show, we talked about tithing, how Malachi 3:10-11 says, "Bring ye all the tithes to the storehouse, that I might have meat in my house." And so and then he says, "Prove me herewith that I won't open up the windows of heaven and pour you out a blessing to where you don't even have room enough to receive it." So now he's just not telling that to the pastor. Now if the pastor is doing that and he's reaping his benefit, but the congregation won't bring their tithe. So, I'm just saying.
Well, this is Tim's time to shine, so I'm gonna start that today.
You both of you make very, very interesting points. Number one, as it relates to pastors, pastoring is 90% leadership.
Right,
and
right.
10% speaking. So when you have a breakdown in your leadership in any area, especially a ministry, because ministry in this society right now is extremely tough. If you have a breakdown in your leadership, people will not buy into your vision like they need to unless manipulation is involved in some shape, form, or fashion. And don't get me wrong, the manipulation may be very unintentional. We may,
Right.
you know, you may use scripture to back up why you need to do this. You know?
Right.
And to the other point about giving, you know, I told my congregation one day, and this is I don't know if you guys know this, it's a very controversial issue, tithing. Some people believe in tithing, others don't. Some people believe tithing is not just monetary, but you need to give 10% of your time, your energy, and your resources. But this is a biblical principle right here, though. Whether you believe in tithing or not, giving is a biblical principle.
Yes,
You
that
need to
I
be
agree with that.
giving to your church, period, whether you believe in it or not. And that's Old Testament and New Testament.
And what if you don't
right
go
there.
to church? Who do you give to then?
Well, I think if you don't go to church and you are a believer, I think you still need to give your time, money, energy to any nonprofit organization, Christian-based organization. I remember my mom; she was huge on giving to the Jewish, supported organizations. Anything related to building the kingdom. I think, especially in America, we equate church to maybe the institutional church. But like if you go across seas, like for China, for example, if you go there, they have underground churches.
Right.
If you go to
Really?
India, they have home churches and small groups. So in Africa. So, I think our definition of church have been stereotyped, so to speak.
And it has to be this big, gigantic, huge building.
Right.
Yeah.
And there are thousands of different models of what church is.
But isn't church
around the world.
the individual?
It is. I'm one of those people that believe it's the individual and
The body.
it's the body as well. We both work individually and collectively, so to speak.
Right.
And if you look at the Acts Church, they worked together on one accord. But then when Paul went to plant his churches, he represented the church as an individual. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So, it's both a corporate and an individual body. So,
That's what's
so like, for example, if I go to work, I'm representing the church by the way I live and by the way I walk and by the way I talk, by the way I do things. However, Sunday morning come around, I may go to the body. I may go to my local congregation, so to speak,
Right.
my family.
So you're a keynote speaker as well as a youth motivator. What do you talk about?
Oh, my goodness. I'm big on leadership when it comes down to the youth. I start there.
Okay.
Because I believe the youth really are on the front lines. They deal with so many hardcore things, and they really don't know how to deal with them. I mean, they're dealing with bullying. They're, some kids are born into poverty, and they don't have a good support system at home. And, then they may have a teacher that they feel like don't have their best interests at heart. So, being able to give them the life skills to be effective in life is very important to me. So with the youth market, I tend to deal more so with being motivated to make your grades a top priority, deal with anti-bullying, and I try to talk to the bully and the person that's being bullied. As it relates to schools, churches, organizations, typically what I do is I like to just motivate them. Sad to say that a lot of people don't like to listen to content when you're giving a keynote.
Right.
You can throw a few nuggets there, but many times, I will get hired to come in to really motivate and fuel that organization moving forward for that year. So that's typically what I do. But I love to talk about how how to do this and how to do that, because people always get told what to do, but they don't get told how
to do it, exactly.
or why they should do it.
Well, hold on, Mama. We have a caller on the line. Caller, you there? Hello, caller.
Hello.
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 Hi. Who am I speaking with today?
I'd rather remain anonymous. Is that okay?
That's fine.
Right.
Did you have a question for a guest?
Yes. I actually have a question for all three. I have a question for all three. Because I've chimed in and I've been listening or what have you. So my question is, and it probably is going to have to be a continuation for next week's show and the weeks to come. Because I do see that we are, there's a limited time here. But my question is that, because I hear a lot of people talk about church and things of that nature. What is Christianity? Like, for me, what is that? Because when I read my Bible, then God says I'm all things, which means that He's everything, which means that nobody is wrong. You're only wrong in how you feel. So if somebody slaps you, then at that time they feel like it was right to slap you, correct? So for them, they were right, but for you, they were wrong because of how you felt. So it seems like to me that church is just another way of division, another way of a different culture. Because from what I read, the only time Jesus went to the church was to turn over the tables, because they were stealing from His people,
robbing His people.
So that's why I said this question is a question, but I'm just really trying to figure out, because for me it seems like churches was just another way to keep us in sanity and to also keep us divided, because there's so many different religions, but we all serving a higher power. And God says, "I am whoever you say I am."
Okay.
So it seems like that we're all serving the same power, but it keeps us divided. But like it seems like
putting
even
names
though we're
on
all
it.
saving, serving one power, if you not in the building, if you're not wearing a skirt, or if you're not, in church every Sunday or every Wednesday, it seems like that there's more of a debate about who loved Jesus more than us just being born like He created us to be in the beginning.
So you want to take that? You want to answer that question, Timothy?
Yeah, I can. And thank you for asking that question. I really appreciate that. Christianity in just the most basic sense is you accepting Christ as your personal Lord and Savior, and you putting Him as Lord of your life. And in doing that, you adhere to the standards that He sets for your life. And I want to get into some of the other things that you were saying as well, just kind of about the church. It kind of go back to what I was saying a few minutes ago. Us as people, we mess stuff up. we mess stuff up. And I grew up apostolic. And if anybody know apostolic, that denomination in the Christian faith, it's a pretty strict faith system.
That's how I grew up too.
And let me back up. Even in that, everything starts with faith. It starts with faith and what you believe to be truth. And in doing that, you have to look at Christianity or any religion or anything we do. There are certain standards that create a culture of beliefs or create a belief system that creates a culture. There's certain belief systems that create hip-hop culture. There's certain belief systems that create pop culture, etc. But as it relates to the church, I think the number one thing that would help individuals, even I had to go through this as well, is that to realize that, okay, we are imperfect people trying to live up to a divine standard. And many times of doing that, we drop the ball.
But a divine standard based on who's, and the reason I'm asking this is because I think that's where the breakup is because you have all these different names, cultures, practices, and then everybody's trying to live up. Like God is he's a God of love, You know, and even in the scriptures it says if your child asks you for a piece of bread, would you give him a stone?
Right.
So it's like
Right.
we contradict ourselves because we constantly keep on saying, God loves you. You know, he cares about you and everything about you. He loves you. He loves you. He loves you. But he's the same God who will send you to hell and kill you and burn you and all. Would you do that to your kid?
Well, you know, I believe that people go to church with the wrong motive. It's about we go to church people pleasing. We worry about what folks think instead of focusing on why you're there. You're there to give honor to the God who created us, to the one that wants a personal relationship with you. And so what we're doing is we're concentrating on all these air biscuits being lobbed around. They're distracting us. Oh, her skirt's too short. Oh, she got natural hair. Oh, that child got too much makeup on.
Right.
You know what? You need to concentrate on the word
And your relationship
and how
with
God
God.
is trying to sow into your life. You know, and so we go to church without Jesus in mind. Pretty much. We just go because it's traditional. I'm going to church on Sunday. No, I know what I'm in need of, and I'm going to make sure that I deal with the Father and let Him deal with me so I can get those things. You know.
Yeah,
Right.
I mean that's like really good right there. And I like you just said, I think sometimes that we get distracted by church and we don't focus on relationship because needless to say, you know, God would have you do some radical things, just like He had Jesus do, or even me. You know, look at me. I'm going rogue. I'm a keynote speaker now. So you know, it is. It's all about relationship. It's all about love, and you know. True enough, as the Bible says God chastens who He loves. I mean, even with me, I have two girls. I have a 6-year-old and a 3-year-old, and I love them kids to death. I give my life for my kids. However, if I see them going wrong or in error,
That makes sense to chastise, and God will chastise us, and that makes sense to me. But to feel that this person that loves me, lives within me, gives me life, you know, makes ways for me, opens up doors for me, you know, if you don't get to 100, not even 99 and a half will do. You know, to sing that song, is he 99 and a half just won't make it. If you don't make 100, you're going to hell.
Right.
I don't see God like that. Like, come on now. But He's a God of love. You can't, it's contradictory.
And I think that's where, in a sense, that's where the legalism come into place. It's almost like, you need to be 100% perfect, or you going to hell. And God don't do that. You know, He takes us as we are, and He progresses us, and He develops us into His own. Not in a demonizing way, but in a relational way, in a loving way, in a graceful way.
I think you were talking about something like that last, like how He takes you and molds you and shapes you and what have you.
He doesn't cause bad things to happen to you. A lot of times what we do will bring it on ourselves. That old law, you reap what you sow, is in effect for everybody. And so, what you do will come back on you, good or bad.
It's like the law of gravity.
Absolutely.
It goes up, it's coming down.
It's a law. It's going to happen. So He knows that you missed the mark. He knows that you're going to have to pay a physical consequence for that. Okay, so you're married and you're having sex with someone that's not your wife. Okay, so He loves you. He hadn't stopped loving you, but man, STDs come with that thing, pregnancy comes with that thing, baby mama drama comes with that thing, and so He allows those things to work for your good. He says all things work for the good of those who love Him and who are called according to His purpose. So He knows His end for you. But you got to pay for what you do down here. You just
exactly.
Do. And so,
that's the way it goes.
But so Mr. Whitehead, we are excited to announce that you're going to be at the Health, Interests, Rights, Needs, and Entrepreneurial Summit with Gregory Ruffin. And that's on the 25th, right? Saturday.
It's going to be speaking there.
Yes, that's correct. That's really, I'm really excited about it. Just a great guy, great organization. And, the biggest thing that I like about him, he's all for the people. He's all for helping people. And, when he came to me, I had to take the opportunity just to be a part of his vision and, what he's doing. So,
right.
So absolutely.
And I'm looking forward to it.
So what are you going to be speaking about?
It's a surprise. I can't tell you.
Listeners, I tried to get it,
Right.
man. I tried to get that thing.
So you're going to have to show up at the summits.
Yes. The only hint I give you, it is kind of hitting on what we talked about today.
Okay.
Okay.
But it's going to be good. I can guarantee you that. It's going to be good stuff.
Yeah, wow. And that's needed. In addition to what you and Mr. Ruffin are giving to the community, man, they can come out and get the things that they need in regards to hygiene supplies and food, and they can have a whole lot of stuff out there.
Bring some baskets and pull baskets.
So if you know some people that are in need out here, if they can't get to the summit, man, go out there on their behalf and get that stuff. Get that stuff. People are sowing from their hearts to be able to facilitate their needs. So let's get it all.
Exactly.
Get it all. So for more information, you can reach Mr. Ruffin at 470-274-1109 for the AIRN Summit on the 25th of this month. That's Saturday.
It's next Saturday,
yeah.
right.
Yeah, that's Saturday. And so Mr. Whitehead, tell us how our listeners can reach you.
Yeah, absolutely. If you want to contact me with speaking requests or you have any questions, you can contact me at 205-774-7163.
Okay.
Also, if you want to just learn more about me, you can go to my website at timspeakslife.com.
Okay.
Or you can if you want to just follow me on social media, you can follow me on Facebook at Timothy Whitehead. LinkedIn, I'm Timothy Whitehead as well. Or, see, I'm all over social media.
Exactly, right. I know how it is. I'm not alone.
So give us that number one more time.
Yes, it's 205-774-7163.
All right.
Okay.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
Sounds great.
And you can also follow me on Twitter or Snapchat at Tim Speaks Life as well.
Okay. Well, we're going to wrap this up. I really appreciate you for joining us today as my featured guest, and we look forward to seeing you next week. Yes, exactly.
Absolutely. So thank you for joining us on the show today, and we want you to know that we are grateful for your support. You've been listening to the Kelissa in the Morning Show. We hope you enjoyed the time we spent this morning. So we're confident that you are educated and absolutely inspired. Please tune in next week when we'll be talking with It's a Surprise. You got to listen.
Stay tuned.
So make sure you join us 9 to 10 right here on WAEC Love 860, Atlanta's inspirational talk radio. The Kelissa in the Morning Show, reaching out and connecting with victorious people in the community through radio with the express number one motive, that is always to
help somebody else.
help somebody else. Until next week, be safe and enjoy the rest of your day.
Good morning.
Thank you for listening to Kelissa in the Morning. Be sure to tune in every Thursday, 9 to 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on WAEC Love 860.